Hey guys, this is a diary project update. I am just letting you know what the next stage of it is. Hopefully, you have already finished your timeline. If you haven't finished your timeline, uh, it was due last week, so it should be done already. Um, so, you guys, up until this point, you researched a conflict in the world that did not take place in the United States. So it was one of these conflicts, or it could be another one. It didn't just have to be those. And then you created your timeline with 10 historical events and 5 fictional events for your, historical fiction person. Now that you're finished with that, you're going to create journal entries for this fictional person that you invented. So each entry, you're going to have 3 entries. Each entry has to be at least half a page. Each has to have a date, and in the entries, you have to talk about the name of your person, the age of your person, what their daily life was like before the event or conflict, and how they respond to real events from history. So I really want to see you guys including a lot of details from your research from the timeline in your diary entries. You'll also probably have to do more research to incorporate what their daily life was like before the event or conflict. So just a reminder, all 3 entries have to be at least half a page. They have to have historical details. Main character, that's the character that you have made up. They are a fictional character. They have to have a name, an age, and then you have to tell me what their day-to-day life was like before this big event happened. We'll be presenting these March 4th in class, but notice the due date is February 27th or 28th, depending on when your block day is. So Thursday or Friday, depending on your block day. All right, we're going to look at some student examples. The length requirement on yours is a half page per entry, single spaced. These might be slightly different just because my students last year had a slightly different length requirement. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so this is a 3 example, and I'm just going to read you guys probably the first couple entries out of this. March 18th, 2011. Hi, my name is Bella, and I'm 14 years old. I have a twin brother, and his name is Sam. We have 2 parents, our mom, Shelley, and our dad, Tom. We live in Syria, and a war just started on March 15th. People versus government. Today, 4 people were killed. It was the first deaths of the war. My brother and my best friend's names are Karen and James Abadi. We have not seen them in so long because of the war. Karen is 14 and James is 15 years old. Their parents' names are Barbara and Lee. The war has caused many people to flee. My family is thinking of fleeing to Turkey because we have risk due to being upper-class citizens. My parents think people will try to hurt us for money, and the government is not making things better for everyone. We would flee to Turkey because my cousins live there, as do my grandparents. I got excited and a little scared when my parents told me that my brother and I did not have to go to school because of safety reasons. Yours truly, Bella. March 13th, 2013, so there's a 2-year time jump in her entries. Hello, the war is still going on. It has been 2 years since it started. My family has decided to go to Turkey. We've invited the Abadi family, and I think they're going with us. My family is going for a while to make sure the war doesn't improve. We have packed our tents, blankets, pillows, weapons, and food. In addition, we have to pack personal stuff, which will be clothes, games, and more. Today, it reached 1 million refugees, and the regime was accused of killing more than 1,400 people. That is a lot of people. My mom just came and told me that the Abadi family is going with us. I am so excited because I have not seen her in so long, and her brother James. James is kind of a hottie, just saying. My brother Sam was so annoying today. He keeps coming into my room and screaming in different pitches to annoy me, so I pushed him. Haha, it was so funny. Then my mom and dad got mad at both of us for fighting. Then we had to hug. It was horrible. Then my dad came home from work. He owns a fancy business. I forgot what it was called. All I know is it is fancy. So this is about the Syrian civil war. If you guys want to read more of that, you are more than welcome to. It's on this PowerPoint that's on Google Classroom. So what makes this a 3? She had a ton of historical details in there. She was really looking at like the dates and when certain things were happening, and like what people in Syria would be doing at that time. She gave me a little bit of the day-to-day. That's why it's a 3. She gave me a little bit of their day-to-day life. She told me about like their friends. She told me about what she likes to do. And then she also had the name, age. She had the name and age of her person, as well as the historic details and the day-to-day life. So let's look. Oops. Let's look at another example of a 3. So this one's about the Armenian Genocide. Okay, so this one says February 3rd, 1914. Dear Diary, I'm not sure how to do this type of thing. My father just got me this diary yesterday. I suppose I should start by describing myself and my family. I have 5 people in my family, including me. I have my sister, my brother, and my mother and my father. My sister Molly, who is 16, enjoys reading and learning about different things in history. And we're only 2 years apart, so we're best friends and understand each other in full. My brother Adam, who is 9, enjoys learning about all different kinds of animals. While he gets on my nerves, I still love him. My mother Samantha is selfless and very good at solving riddles. And last, but definitely not least, my father Martin is kind and supportive and loves reading books. Now to describe myself. My name is Lorraine. I'm 14. I think I'm the quiet type, more of an observer. I really enjoy playing sports with my friends and family. One of my favorite things to do is different board games with my family. My sister and I are usually on the same team and win. Now for my school life. I am an average student. My worst subject is math. I can't seem to get fractions down. My English is getting better every day, even though it's still hard. I get by. My favorite book right now is The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. I'm also fond of Gone with the Wind. Anyways, I should get going. My mother is going to be calling me down for dinner soon. Yours, Lorraine. I really like how she researched and looked up what popular books would be at the time, because it's 1914. So The Wonderful Wizard of Oz is a good one. Gone with the Wind is a good one. This is a really good example of just establishing what life was like before the event. I think, yeah, I'm gonna skip the second one because it's more of that. I'm gonna jump down to this one. March 10th, 1914. Dear Diary, there's been so much drama lately that I haven't been able to write in here for a while. The jihadists declared a Turkish boycott on the 21st of February. That was scary because that means the Turks have been officially declared a problem. I was hoping that it was just a phase, but as I expected, it wasn't. I'm hoping that they'll only be torturing us for a week or so and then they'll be done. But as they are not done, we are participating in the boycott quietly so we don't draw attention to ourselves. We have to take our bikes to school now instead of walking so that we can get home faster. My brother's bike still has training wheels, so it's hard for me to go fast when I have to wait for him every 2 minutes. When we finally get home, my mother rushes us in and locks the door real quick. I'm not allowed to go outside and read unless it's after 5, but then it's chilly outside and almost dark, so there's really no point. Our bedtime is now 8:30 when it used to be 9:30, and we eat dinner at 7. It's almost time for dinner now, so I really should be going. Yours, Lorraine. So you guys can see this is where her research really started to come in. The 21st of February, there's a Turkish boycott. She really looked into what that would mean for people in Armenia. So if you guys want to read the rest of these, like I said, it is linked on this PowerPoint. So it has plenty of historical details on it. This one did a really good job of giving the day-to-day life, and you felt like you kind of knew that person. And then I had the name and the age again on that one. Now we're going to look at some examples of a 4. So these ones, that we're going to look at now. I think you guys will see the difference between them. They're a lot more developed. So they have more historical details in them. They have those day-to-day routines are researched. So they researched what the day-to-day life of somebody living in those countries would actually be like. Then this one, the Khmer Rouge Cambodian takeover, this one is really beautifully written. So let's take a look at this one. Okay. So I'm going to read you guys only part of this first entry because you can see her entries are really long. That's not necessary, but that's what she felt like she had to do to get a 4 on this. But I'm just going to show you kind of what this beautiful, more developed writing looks like. Today's the start of a new year. January 1st, 1975. Today's the start of a new year. I can't believe that 1974 is already behind us. Normally, around the start of the year, our family comes together and we have a special New Year's dinner. I didn't see Mother or Father preparing plans for this, however, but they both have seemed so worried lately that I didn't want to bother them. Unfortunately, I still had to go to school today, and apparently teachers aren't permitted to celebrate a new year because classes were just as boring as ever. After school, I walked home to find Mother sitting on the sofa, eyes glued to our small television, playing the news in the corner of the living room. Father was in the kitchen, intently reading the day's paper. My parents have always been interested in news and politics, but recently I've noticed that their concentration has been even more intense. Not even a welcome home Akara today. After that was my usual routine. Homework is easy, and sometimes it feels like even my teachers are distracted with the current political environment. Every time I try to ask my parents what happens in the rest of Cambodia, they exchange looks and tell me not to worry about it. Today, I finally decided to get some information and crept into the kitchen where Mother and Father couldn't see me. I watched the television from a distance. Ooh, I am going to finish reading this one. This one is really interesting. I watched the television from a distance as the evening program started. The sounds and visuals were hard to register because I was further away, but from what I could pick out, it was information about those communists, the Khmer Rouge, gaining power. I don't understand why that merits the constant focus of every adult in Cambodia. I heard from school that Khmer Rouge means red Cambodians. In the pictures in the newspaper, they all look like ordinary Cambodians and not scarlet men, so I'm confused about that too. Luckily, neither Father nor Mother noticed me standing there, so I made off to my room without confrontation. Being an only child, I've developed many pastimes, including drawing and reading. In just the past year, I started writing in journals. I filled up my first one a few weeks ago, and I received this one today from my best friend, Chenda Nim. She gave it to me as a goodbye present because her family is traveling somewhere for the foreseeable future, as she told me before class today. Come to think of it, Chenda did seem a bit nervous about something. What if she's leaving because of the situation with the Khmer Rouge? They've been a headline for years. Why leave now? Maybe I don't understand what's going on completely. More on that later. Akara Kyo. So she goes on to really, that was only her first entry. So she goes on to really develop everything that was going on in Cambodia in the time. But you guys can kind of see the difference between the 3 and the 4. Her story is really engaging. It's really well written, and she's kind of weaved in those political details within this story of Akara that she's writing. Just a reminder that the length requirement of your diary entries are half a page each, single-spaced, okay? Last one that I'm going to show you guys really quick is the Chinese Civil War. Okay, and I really like this one because she's written just a really fun story with her person. May 5th, 1919. Dear Diary, yesterday was a protest with our university. Jihao and I went. We wanted to help in the small way we could, But other than that, seeing all the people that I know come together for a cause was in some way heartwarming. There could have been more than 10,000 people there, all for the same cause. Jihao proposed to me today. We are finally getting married. We should probably wait because of everything that's going on, but when it happens, it'll be perfect. I love him and he loves me, and it'll stay that way forever. When he proposed, he said, Yiru, I promise to spend every day working to become the truest version of myself for you, for us, and for our future family. You are the kindest, most caring woman I know. Will you do me the honor of becoming my wife? We took a short walk in the forest, and I didn't realize where we were going at first, but as we kept walking, I started to recognize more and more. We came upon our old tree house. We used to play in it when we were little. We've been friends since I was around 4. We have really known each other for 16 years. Even though we have known each other for so long, we didn't start dating until the very start of university, and now we're getting married. I still can't believe it. It feels like a very magical dream that will last forever. Jihao and I are looking for an apartment. We were looking for a 2-bedroom, but we may be thinking of something bigger. We both want kids. We just aren't sure if this is a good idea to bring a kid into a country on the brink of war. We were just at a protest, for goodness sake. We are going to wait until after we finish university, and then we'll have a big, beautiful family together. Yi. I'm going to skip ahead. I really like the way that she's started it, though. I think it's really interesting. I think she's done a really good job establishing who this person is, who they were before the Civil War really started to break out. I'm going to skip down. I'm going to skip down to this entry. August 14th, 1927. Dear Diary, I had one of the most amazing days of my life yesterday. My daughter was born. She's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, my little Jia. I named her after Jihao. Her name means home, and I love it. I love her. She looks just like her father, and just like him, all she does is smile, except when she's hungry, of course. Jihao always said that our children would be happiest of all. He was right. She is the happiest thing you'll ever see, and I love her for it. Mom is coming to visit next week, and I can't wait for them to meet. She's going to help me get used to living with little Jia and then go back to Shanghai. Dad has been having back problems, so he won't be able to make the trip. But maybe he will next time. The Chinese Civil War officially started 13 days ago. My guess is the CCP are angry about what happened in Shanghai. I am too. I have reason to. I lost my husband, and I hope the CCP win. Jihao and I don't want to raise our child during wartime, but that is what it's looking like is going to happen. I guess that's not the worst thing to happen to me. Jihao never wanted our children to grow up alone. He wanted them to grow up with siblings and friends. So when Jia is old enough, I will put her in a child care service with other children her age. I can't give her siblings, so it'll be the best I can do. I can give her this much. So you guys can see she started to weave in the historical details there. Her later entries really start to do it more. You can see the Japanese attacked Shanghai a few days ago. That's what I really like about these 4 entries, is that they really use the voice of the author, and they integrate those historical details. So the historical details are really throughout while they're telling the story of this person. I also really liked how creative that Chinese Civil War one was. I liked that she started out with her getting married, and then she the husband gets killed, in case you didn't get that. The husband gets killed, and then she has a baby. So you guys can go read more. Like I said, I have the full links to all of the stories in there. So yeah, that one was a 4 example. So just to sum up, to get a 3, your diary entries have to be half a page each, single spaced. That'll be 1.5 pages total. You have to have historic details, and you have to give your main character a name and age. Make sure you're also talking about the day-to-day life in your character's country before the event. This will probably take some research on your part so that you're not doing, so that you're making the character really believable. All right, that's it, you guys.